Good afternoon from the David James Group in beautiful Oak Brook Terrace. My name is Chris Martin. I'm the Vice President of Public Relations. My esteemed and trusted colleague is Ron Zwicky. He's the Managing Director here.
Hello.
We're going to talk about a rebrand here with a client of ours. But before we get into that, we want to talk a little bit about a rebrand we're doing ourselves here with this broadcast ourselves. Now, I know there's thousands of you out there that are used to seeing this on Friday as a 5-minute Friday on Facebook. But we're going to switch things up, and we are now going with Stir and Tell for our Facebook Live broadcast, or we're going to rebrand it that way. Sort of decouple it from Friday so we can do it on Monday or a Thursday or maybe even on a Sunday morning, maybe a brunch thing.
Oh, like a Meet the Press kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
MTP.
Cool. Gotcha.
Sort of after brunch,
Sure.
You can do something like that. So look for future updates about these kinds of broadcasts scheduled on any day of the week, even Friday, but maybe even Wednesday too, like today. So stay tuned for that. We're happy to keep you posted. Now, the rebrand itself is a fascinating one to me because a lot of the rebrands we do are fairly recent. They go through a rebrand every 10 or 15 years. This client, the Acoustical Society of America, had not rebranded for 88 years.
Right.
8 years ago, I believe,
It's like
right?
the Titanic was sinking at the time.
That's right. Wow, that was a long time ago. So the first question I have for you is, tell us a little bit about what the Acoustical Society of America is. Right. What do they do? And then was there any particular challenge that we faced when we did the rebrand for such a group that had not gone through a rebrand in such a long time?
So the Acoustical Society of America is a scientific society that has members in many different technical areas in terms of they could be building acoustics or construction acoustics, it could be in the area of music, it could be audiological types of areas. There's many different areas, even marine acoustics. So they have extremely diverse membership. It's the leading scientific organization in its space, and as Chris mentioned, yes, they've been around for 88 years. So that's a long time to go without changing your identity. So this started back in 2015 when ASA volunteers and members had a task force, and they identified from a strategic position that it was time to start looking at potentially rebranding the organization, repositioning the organization, looking to appeal to a new audience and remain relevant. Those are themes that we do find consistent with other organizations that we rebrand. From a challenge standpoint, I think the biggest challenge was to explain or to communicate to the audience or to the members, why do we need to do this after 88 years? Why should we change our brand? And again, that's something we run into all the time.
4 generations of people have come and gone.
Right.
Why change now, right?
Right.
So take us through the brand. Why don't you show us, it's kind of an analog version of the logo here. Hold that up. And I know on the blog post that we wrote for this, you kind of dissect the various elements here. So by all means, do check out the blog post that Ron wrote. It's on our website, davidjamesgroup.com. But take us through the elements here and why they're so important and what they mean.
Sure. So as part of this process, we wanted to create a new identity that referred or had some heritage to it. So it referred back to the current brand. So that led a lot of our direction. As well as we did want to create a mark or a logo that was also modern feeling. So we had that driving us. And then lastly, as I mentioned, because it's a diverse organization, we wanted to communicate a sense of diversity. So we started with a serif typeface with the ASA, which brings a little bit of heritage. It's a nod to the scientific rigor of the organization. But then we brought in a sans serif face of America, so it brings it a little newer feel to it. And then the identity, the logo mark here, it refers to the science of acoustics. It feels like a sound wave. You've got this blue dot, which represents ASA being the center of this organization. But then the radiating dots are reflective of the diversity of the organization, that they, and innovation that comes out of the ASA organization radiates forward. And that's the gist of what this new identity was designed to do.
So one of the things that we talk about with rebrands is how do the members react to it? It's a big change for a lot of people. There's always going to be an element to a membership that doesn't take to it as well as others. Kind of give me a sense of how this was received.
So it was received well because what we did is we laid out an education program prior to we ever unveiling the identity. where we were communicating to the membership why we were going through this, the need to go through this. The board had already made the decision to support this initiative, which is always important. You know, there was some conversations back and forth in meetings when we were presenting identity and having these things, and you know, where challenges come up. But at the end of the day, it was definitely well received by the organization and members at large.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining the first edition of Stir and Tell here at the David James Group on Facebook Live. For more information about the rebrand that we did for the Acoustical Society of America, go to our website, thedavidjamesgroup.com. Ron's got a nice blog post where he dissects the blog or the logo a little bit more detailed. And please check that out. If you have any comments, please leave them here on Facebook. We'll be answering them throughout the day, and we will post this website, this video, and future updates a little bit later, okay?
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks.